Ah, ah, good morning. Good morning. What's poppin', ladies and gentlemen? How we doing? What's happening? What's happening? It's a great day. Talk about some video games. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a nice eventful day, if I may. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all for joining me, and of course Christian on the crosser. Kevin Mack in the chat. What it do? What's poppin', my man? This is the official pre-show of the PlayStation Source podcast Cross Circle. Hope y'all enjoying. How was everyone's weekend? How's everyone's weekend doing? How are things going? How's the family? How's the kids? Let me know. As we get set up and get links spread out across the multiverse to our beloved podcast. You know. But let me know. Let me know how everyone's weekend's going. How is everyone doing? How we doing? How we living? Are we okay? Are we alright? Are the people fed? Things fed? I'll tell you something. All right. I started a little game. So I have been playing through the Borderlands series, right? Just to be in preparation for Borderlands 3. I've gone through the first game. I've gone through the second game. I've gone through the pre-sequel as well. And now I'm on to Tales from the Borderlands, made by Telltale Games. And let me tell you something. I'm 2 episodes in. I am thoroughly enjoying that game. Thoroughly enjoying it. Very, very good game. I'm definitely liking it. I'm definitely enjoying it. For sure. It's been a real treat. I also finished My Friend Pedro on Switch. Thought the game was okay. I thought it was alright. Wasn't the greatest. But it was alright. It was alright. It was alright. You know what I'm saying? But I just felt that like I didn't have the control I thought I would have. Um, you know what I'm saying in the game. I don't know. It just felt kind of weird. But I don't know. Maybe. But I did play a little bit more in bed even after I beat the game. I just thought it was just all right. You know. But let me know what games you're playing as I share links here. Also, make sure to subscribe to our podcast services. We are on a multitude of different podcast servers. Make sure to go check out those if you feel worthy. You know what? Even if you may not be worthy, why not subscribe? You know what I'm saying? If you like, because I know me personally, I love podcasts. Right? I follow a lot of podcasts, and I like consuming audio format in a podcast format. So that's just me. But I'm waiting for the old call from Christian. So we're just doing that. Still trying to platinum Days Gone. Ooh, okay. I do have a Days Gone video coming out this week. I do have one coming out this week. It is a live commentary playthrough of something. So get hyped for that. It's recorded. Not sure when it'll go live, but it will. Ooh, ooh.
Hello.
Is that the boy?
Hello.
What's happening?
What's up?
Wait, can you scream for me real quick?
Scream?
Never mind. We're good. Yeah.
Okay.
I did say scream. I just want to make sure your levels were going on OBS and that you were streaming the audio. So, Christian is here.
I
Get
am.
hype, ladies and gentlemen.
I have to let my cat out of the room 1 second.
You have a cat?
Got 2 cats.
You have two
Well,
cats? That's hype.
Technically they're my sister's cats.
Ah, I see.
But I just helped her move out.
Ah.
She will be taking them
Oh.
in a handful of days.
The cats are leaving? That's tragic.
Yeah.
That's a tragedy. Let me get an F in the chat for some cats leaving. That's horrible. But you can go let the cats out. I'll also
We're
keep
back.
chatting to the chat. That's a big rip for the cats. That's a big RIP. That's a big RIP, if I may. But yeah. Wait, what was I saying? I was saying something before we started. I forgot what I was saying. What the hell was I saying? I forgot my whole train of thought. What was I saying? I think I have dementia. I think I'm dying. Probably not, but. Oh, I was talking about podcast services. Yeah, so make sure to subscribe to our podcast services. There's an Anchor link down below that will link you to all the other platforms that we are on via Anchor. So you can go do that. And
Shout out to Anchor.
yeah, shout out to Anchor. And I also have a Days Gone video. I see Kevin Mack in the chat still playing Days Gone. I have a Days Gone video incoming. Now, Christian, we do have to talk about next week, which probably is a offline. I will be out of town.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to.
That's
If we
okay.
need to pre-record the episode, I am fine with that. We will
Okay.
prevail. But
we can figure something out.
yeah. We all good. No worries. But 12:26.
I gotta pull up a late chat.
Le chat. Kevin Mack says smoking too much pot. For me, forgetting what I was talking about before Christian came in here. Interesting notion.
Oh, that you are.
Yes, that I am, like Stephen A. Smith says, off the weed. Stay off the weed.
It's a reference that's lost on me at the moment.
It's really funny. Stephen A. Smith is hilarious. He's on ESPN, and
Oh, right. Okay. I only know it's Skip Bayless, right? He's on there.
yeah. Skip is
Yeah.
funny. Skip is really funny.
Yeah.
Shout out Baby D in the chat. What's happening, bro? How you doing?
Hello, everybody.
Now, oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that as we used to do on the show, we used to usually open with like what we're playing and stuff, but I feel like that's moved to pre-show now.
It is pretty much pre-show. Yeah, pretty much pre-show.
I platinumed Crash Bandicoot 2.
Can I get some claps in the chat for my boy Christian here doing that platinum game?
Much so, 2 years ago, I platinumed Crash Bandicoot in the Insane Trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
and it nearly killed me. I hated that. I hate Crash Bandicoot 1. It is not a good video game. Crash 2, I've said this before, Crash 2 is my favorite Crash Bandicoot game on the PlayStation 1. Had an alright time. There was only like 1 or 2 levels where I wanted to like pull my hair out. But other than that,
I see.
wasn't too bad.
I see. Congratulations on your platinum.
That's my 20th platinum.
Beautiful. Congratulations. I have been playing 2 games. I beat 1. My friend Pedro. You can see a thread on my Twitter of my concise thoughts on it, but I'll kind of just recap. It's fun. It is it is a weird story. It's a bit tacky. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a lot of jokes in there that like didn't hit as hard, as like I think they were intending. But overall, it was a pretty good game.
Nice.
Very, very run of the mill. I wouldn't say it's bad. I will say that like it was kind of just a game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not head over heels over it. You know what I'm saying? But what I am head over heels for is a little episodic game called Tales from the Borderlands. Let me tell you, I am thoroughly enjoying this. I'm like, this is what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the content I was looking for.
The only thing that would make that game more of a 10 is if Chris Hardwick wasn't in it.
Wait, I'm on episode 2.
No, you know who he is. He's Vaughn.
Ah, wait, he's Chris Hardwick?
Yeah.
That's the voice actor?
Yeah. I don't know why they got him.
Wait. Wow. Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. I
Right,
didn't
Vaughn
realize.
is the nerdy dude with the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
one that's ripped. I didn't know it was him.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate how I can spot Nolan North from like a mile away in VO at this point. You know what I'm saying? He's August in the
Right.
game. Yeah. But I am like
Troy Baker too. He's in there.
yeah. Troy is why am I forgetting the main character's name? God, I'm an idiot. Reese, thank you, Reese. Yeah.
Fiona is the other one.
Yeah.
That's Laura Bailey's character.
Yeah, Vienna's Laura Bailey. Yeah. So far, I am liking it a lot. You know, I liked how there was Scooter in episode 2. Big fan of Scooter. Catch a ride. You know what I'm
See,
saying?
I liked Reese a lot because he's just kind of a scumbag, and I'm real bummed that Troy Baker isn't in Borderlands 3 because
Yeah.
when they showed Borderlands 3 and it was that reveal, I was like, oh my god, that's Reese. They're making Tails like more canon than it already is.
Right.
And then come to find out, it's like, hey, we hired Chris Hardwick again, but not Troy Baker. It's like,
That's
why?
a bit upsetting. A bit upsetting. I hope they kind
Um,
of. I don't know if they can, double
I
back
mean,
at this point, but
I doubt it at this point because like that other guy made the announcement. It's like, hey, I'm playing Reese now. I'm a big
yeah.
fan of Troy Baker's work, so like I would feel kind of crappy to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But Baby D brings up in the chat before we get started on the episode. A game called Judgment. I know you were pretty uppy up on it. You know, I believe you're a Yakuza fan to a degree, right? So
Yeah, so I've been meaning to play Yakuza 0 forever.
is it Yakuza or Yakuza? Am I saying it wrong? Or is it just it doesn't really matter? Does it really matter?
There's definitely a proper way to do it. I have always said Yakuza, and I know the people from Easy Allies that love that series. I trust how they would pronounce it because they love it so much. They call it Yakuza.
Okay, I'm not saying I'm right at all.
Yeah.
I was just asking the question. Right, okay.
I know Greg calls it Yakuza.
Yeah, I've heard Yakuza forever. I've heard most people just call it Yakuza instead of Yakuza. But I guess if it's phonetically correct with Yakuza, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know. But.
I want to get to Judgment. I want to play through Yakuza 0 first because I bought it like 3 months ago and I just haven't touched it. Judgment, I think I may pick up around Black Friday because it's something that I've heard great things about, and the aspect of being a detective in that game sounds way cool and really interesting to me personally, just kind of based on the stuff that I like. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying Judgment eventually.
I see. But yeah, I think this week I'm gonna just keep working on Tales in the Borderlands. It's my night game. It's my like, all right, I get home from work, let's get under the sheets, let's route the HDMI to my big screen, and set up my setup, and let's just just make some decisions. Definitely.
You know what my night game is?
What is your night game, sir?
Super Mario Maker 2.
Is that what you want to touch on before we start the podcast?
Yeah, game's a delight. I love it so much. I've made 3 levels. I made one with my girlfriend last night. Made like a spooky ghost house thing. It's cool. I'm a big fan of the game. It's incredibly intuitive for making levels. I found it easiest to just take the Joy-Con off and just have the tablet and then use my finger to make levels.
Right.
That's the easiest way I found to do it. It's
see.
faster than using a controller.
I see.
But already there's so many amazing levels that people put up there. It's probably the best. Honestly, if you want a Mario game,
right,
like this is it. This is the one to buy.
This is it, Chief. This is the one.
Oh, absolutely, this is it. Because like people are probably gonna end up remaking Mario games just in this engine, in this tool set, because it's that accurate to how Nintendo makes the game.
I might pick it up because there is a game on the list that we will go over in the episode that is coming out this week that I am very excited for, specifically for Switch. But I might pick up Mario Maker too. We'll see.
If you haven't played a ton of 2D Mario, I think this is absolutely a fantastic thing to pick up. Even if you don't plan on touching the creative tools,
stuff, right.
There's 100 levels and made by Nintendo in a story mode.
I was not aware of that.
It's a full blown campaign essentially.
Ooh, okay.
Where
that definitely just changes things. Okay, I see.
Like it starts off, you're rebuilding Princess Peach's castle, and then it gets reset. So the campaign is Toad gives you 100 different job listings where you collect coins in the jobs, and you get rewarded with coins for doing the jobs. Then you put those coins into rebuilding the castle, so that way once you finish all 100 levels, you have Princess Peach's big, nice, better than ever castle.
I see.
And there's some really very, very creative, some of the most creative Nintendo level design I've seen out of the Mario series since I was been alive. because it gets really weird with some of the stuff, and it gets very non-Nintendo in a very good way. So I really can't recommend it enough if you have a Switch and just have like even the slightest interest in it.
Okay. I think you sold me.
Yeah.
I think you have sold me. But
Plus, I mean, like, it's gonna be pretty endless. Like, people are gonna
is
be
true.
making levels in that thing for years to come. So
that is true. That is true. I think you know what? You really did sell me. I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
and if you want to see it in action, I know Andy has streamed a bunch. On
And
his
yeah,
channel.
yeah, I saw him raging at some Twitter
Yeah.
videos, but let's get right into the intro, shall we?
Let's go for it.
Chia.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cross Circle, the official podcast for PlayStation Source. I'm your moderator, Christian Buckley, here for episode 43, joined by Kevin Diaz.
What's happening? How you doing? How was your weekend, sir? How was your weekend? How you doing?
How was my weekend? I don't even know. It went by fast, I feel like.
It did. It did. Mine, I went out for the first time, you know.
Oh,
that was
nice.
interesting. You know, very, very fun time. You know,
Mm.
that's stories for probably a different podcast, a different Discord chat, if I may. That'll be for a different time. But yeah, got some good games we're playing. We talked about that in the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out.
So, we've talked about this last week. Summer seems like it's gonna be pretty backlog heavy for me, at least. I think for you as well.
Yes. Yes.
There are other games coming out later this year, though, that deserve some hype.
Absolutely.
And we touched on it a little bit last week because we talked about our game of the year so far. So that was a good discussion if you're interested in what we think the best games of 2019 are at this point. But now, we're post E3. We pretty much know most, if not all, of the big games coming out this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we know. Like, it's gonna be interesting if we have anything of substance, of like, you know, massive caliber of a game coming out in 2019 that we don't know of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like part 2. Sorry guys, it's over. It's over. You know what I'm saying? Check
Yeah.
out Road to Part 2, our weekly Last of Us series. But RIP to that dream of it being in 2019. But
At the same time,
oh my!
if it were to be announced for 2019, I would not be surprised.
I would be shocked because I don't think they would put Death Stranding and Last of Us Part 2 next to each other at all.
Man, they have put some stuff back to back in the past.
I mean, they
put
have
stuff out on the same day in the past.
I mean,
that makes me
recently-
feel like they don't care.
Recently, they have done Dreams and Days Gone. We're very close to each other. Obviously, Dreams not as high of a caliber game as Days Gone, and even Days Gone, to its own credit, not even at a high caliber as of like Last of Us. But you know,
Right.
we'll see.
So, what we're going to do today is have a discussion about the games we're looking most forward to. And this is interesting because earlier in the year, we made a list about our most anticipated games for 2019. We did that in January. I think that was our first episode of the year.
I think it was January. Yeah, that's an interesting episode to look back on.
Yeah.
If I
So
may.
again, we talked about it a little bit last week if you're interested in hearing about what our up-to-date thoughts were. But now, post E3, like I said, we know what's coming. So I think it's time to update and have a discussion about
Absolutely.
what games are going to be the biggest games, at least for us, for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So Kevin,
Yes.
I have something I want to tell you.
Okay. Please, sir. Listen, this is a circle of trust. All right? We don't discriminate here in the chat. I don't want to see no slander on what he's about to say. Okay. Just let the man speak.
So originally,
Okay.
I texted you.
You did.
The plan was
Oh.
5 each.
Indeed.
I listed my 5,
Uh-oh.
and then I was like, hey, I have a couple that I don't want to put on here, but I'm going to put in honorable mentions.
Right.
I ended up having 5 honorable mentions.
Hmm.
So I have 10 total, essentially.
Interesting.
So I could either rattle off those 5, or we could both do 10, or...
I mean, I could think of 10 because they were playing, because I also rebutted your text, if I may, and asked, hey, are we talking about games that have a concrete 2019 date, or just we know of that are coming out as of right now? You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure I can conjure up 5 more that don't have a date. That, if you'd like, I can do that real real quick. We could do like a massive top 20 list. You know?
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it. 10 each.
Okay.
So now that we're doing this officially, I'm swapping one out,
Mmm.
and I will switch the one I just swapped out to be an honorable mention, and I'll talk about it right now.
Okay.
So my honorable mention is Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Wow.
It was originally going to be one of my shout-outs, which is now the top 10. But I have not had a great time with the Call of Duty game since Advanced Warfare.
Oh my god. Really?
I'm in the minority there. I really enjoy Advanced Warfare.
You are in the extreme minority, my guy.
So no, I'm not talking Infinite Warfare, which I've heard is very good from Omar, my buddy. He loves that campaign to death.
The campaign is good.
Yeah, he loves that campaign, and he wants me to check it out, and I plan on checking it out just because of the comparisons I've seen to like Mass Effect and stuff.
Yeah.
But Advanced Warfare was the last time I fully loved a COD package altogether. World War II, didn't play the campaign. I got to like level 28 or 30 in the multiplayer.
Right.
And that was about it. I didn't really dig how they were made like that hub area, and it was like a bunch of stuff.
It was wonky. Yeah, it was a thing.
Black Ops, this
Black Ops
generation, 4? Both Black Ops this generation, I didn't really take a swing at.
I will stand by Black Ops 3 is one of the best CODs.
See, I own it from that free thing. I just never got around to it, and I think when Black Ops 3 came out, I was like burnt out on COD at that point.
Right.
But Black Ops 1 is one of my favorites.
Black Ops 1's come on now, it's a banger.
But with Modern Warfare, excuse me, everything they've been saying about it has me curious to at least give it a shot, because it seems like they have a vision now. You know, it's not just like we're Call of Duty, we're making a Call of Duty. It's like we're Call of Duty, so we're gonna use that to tell a story that we want to tell.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Or present ideas to our players in a more structured way than we have in the past.
Right. I see.
Or at least in a while.
Yeah.
And it's just refreshing. So I'm looking forward to it for that reason.
Yeah, Modern Warfare is on my list. Let me just talk about Modern Warfare, I guess, since we're on the topic, I guess, you know?
Yeah, sure. So
Okay.
Is it your number 10, or is it in a different order?
So mine aren't in order, but
Okay, that's fine.
The top 5 are the original 5, and then I just
Gotcha.
add on 5 more.
Okay.
So Modern Warfare was in my OG top 5, in the original top 5, right? So, I mean, I feel like it's almost odd to put Modern Warfare on the top 5 just because we still don't have gameplay of it yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's
and
a
I
good
think
point.
that's just very odd. I'm like, man, like, how is it July and it's coming out in October and we don't have gameplay for it yet, as opposed to past years where we've gotten gameplay in literally May and the game wasn't out for November. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a bit fishy, you know? But from the COD community that I listen to a lot, one of them being Drifter, you know what I'm saying? T. Martin as well, even though he hasn't gotten hands-on yet. But I've heard pretty good things about Modern Warfare when they've seen it behind closed doors, you know? And I think the biggest reason why I'm excited for Modern Warfare is because they have confirmed that like they have a brand new engine with this Modern Warfare.
Yeah, that's a big deal too.
Which originally in the past, if you guys aren't aware, the Call of Duty series has been built on a version of Quake, of the Quake engine that is modified every year by the studio that is making it that year, you know, to fit their needs and stuff like that. But this is the first time they're using a brand new from scratch engine. I think it took 5 years for them to make. So it's been in development for a long time now, but I'm excited to see what that engine can bring to the series, you know, as a whole. So that's why it's on my list. You know what I'm saying? And from what we've seen so far, having a more darker, grittier, serious tone, I think that could lead to a really good single player. You know what I'm saying? I think we'll get a really good story out of it. So we'll have to see. So that's why I'm a little bit more on the light end things. I do want to see gameplay of it. You know, I will keep that in mind. I still feel kind of putting it on my top 5 without there being gameplay. But that's what it is. You know, that's what it is.
Very cool.
If you'd like, I can move on to mine. One of my picks, if you'd like. Or if you want to list off something from yours, or...
So, I'll do my number 10, since you just did 10.
Okay.
You're first on your 10.
Yeah.
I just want to shout out Modern Warfare because it is. I do have more interest in it than I would normally would for COD. That's why I
Right.
wanted to.
Right.
So this one I talked about on our E3 takeaway podcast, and I want to make a correction
Mm.
because this is something I got wrong when I was talking about it. I'm still looking forward to it, but this is something that I was incorrect about. At this point in time, officially confirmed, Darksiders Genesis is only Strife and War. I thought we had all 4 horsemen available, like Fury and Death, but it's only Strife and War. So the fact that it's Strife and War and it's just those two, at least for now, they could surprise us later.
Right.
I think it's going to make the game tighter, and the puzzles are going to be more custom built to the mechanics we have access to.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're not familiar, Darksiders Genesis is an upcoming spin-off of the Darksiders series where you play as 2 of the horsemen of the apocalypse, Strife and War, before the events of Darksiders 1, the original game that started in a couple years, 2000, like mid-2000s, I think.
I never played I know of Darksiders. I just never played a Darksiders game. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. So it's taking a different approach, and I think most of the Darksiders games have taken liberties with like the formula. There's no locked down formula for a Darksiders game at this point. But what Genesis is doing is they're making like a buddy cop co-op game where it's a not necessarily isometric, but it's the camera view of something like a Diablo or a Lara Croft in the Temple of Osiris, where it's co-op based. It's traveling through dungeons and environments using your special abilities.
Okay.
It's kind of like God of War character action, but like from a more set perspective. You know how the original God of Wars were like dynamically moving cameras, but still had that angle.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that.
Okay, I see.
So I'm really looking forward to Genesis. It was one of my favorite things I saw out of E3 as far as the surprise goes. And I'm not sure if there's a set date on it yet, but it's a budget title. I think it's $40, and it just seems like it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. Are you gonna play that on Switch or on PS4?
I think I might do it on Switch.
I feel like it's a Switch game. You know what I'm saying?
It seems like a very good Switch game. If I can like lock down somebody to co-op it with, and also worth mentioning, it is the same team that developed. Oh, okay. It's the same team that made Battle Chasers Night War, which I guess was like a pretty all-right game on the Switch. It was like kind of a MOBA, but not really, and I think it's on PS4 now.
Okay.
But we have a track record, positive track record. So
there we go.
Looking forward to it.
Deal. My first one I did on the top 5. There's no particular order, you know, on this, so I'm just gonna name off games with no order. You know what I'm saying? But the first one I had here was Wolfenstein Youngblood, coming out later this month.
Very soon.
Yeah, I think it's July 25th or 26th, something like that. But definitely am a big Wolfenstein fan. I love the story of it. And this is like the second kind of offshoot side DLC game they've done with the original Wolfenstein that came out, I believe, in 2015. They did Old Blood. Right. I forgot when the reboot Wolfenstein series started. With Bethesda and Machine Games, but they did Old. What?
Technically, the first Wolfenstein game on the current gen was actually a sequel to a Wolfenstein reboot that happened last gen.
You're joking.
I don't know if you knew that. No, I
know that.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Wait, what was the other one called?
I think it was just called Wolfenstein, but it was like slightly different tone. Like it was kind of a soft reboot.
Was it by Machine Games too?
I'm not sure, but I don't think it did as well.
Huh.
Clearly, if we're questioning it.
Interesting.
But sorry, continue.
Yeah, I feel it. Well, nonetheless, obviously I'm not an expert in Wolfenstein, but I did enjoy, Wolfenstein and then Wolfenstein: The New Colossus and stuff like that. And it seems like with the Youngblood DLC, it being about the kids of BJ, at this point, we left off Wolfenstein 2 with her being pregnant the whole game and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see that like now those kids are birthed, given birth, whatever. And they're out and they're on a mission to save BJ. You know,
Born.
Bo- Dang. That is what we are at today, people. Wow.
Yeah, it's one of those days.
Wow. Anyway, so the kids are born. And they're on a mission to save BJ, you know, in a 60s, 70s, 80s type of time genre where the Nazis won, right? So we get to see that outlook of that era from a Nazi winning World War II perspective. So it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really, really cool. I can't wait for it, and I'll definitely be playing that at the end of July for sure. And it seems pretty integral, you know, because if they're going to continue, because I assume Wolfenstein 3. Well, I guess there's a possibility, but I don't think Wolfenstein 3 will take place right after Wolfenstein 2 if they're laying down the foundation for this game, and this game is taking place when the kids of BJ are older and they're more experienced and they're out there doing stuff and everything. So I feel like Wolfenstein 3 will take place after Youngblood if they're laying down this much foundation and this much groundwork, you know what I'm saying, for it. So I feel like it's much more integral to play this as opposed to Old Blood, which is more of like a side type of thing where zombies, and stuff like that. So it was very much like not really integral to the mainline story, but this seems definitely more integral to the overall plot of the game that they're trying to tell. So it seems necessary if you're a Wolfenstein fan, which I like. So
yeah, very cool.
That is what it is. Yep.
Number 9 for myself is one that's been a little bit controversial the past couple weeks among like the hardcore fan community for it. Pokemon Sword and Shield.
See, now I don't. Can you quickly recap the controversy? Because I haven't really read into it or know fully the whole intricacies of this outrage. But worry. Yeah. What is happening?
So Pokemon as a series is notable for its large number of monsters, where the original games had 151. Usually each generation they add about 100, give or take. And something that's been very unique to Pokemon is if, say I had a Game Boy.
Right.
With the original cartridge from 1996 of Pokemon Red.
Okay.
And I had a Charizard in that game. I would be able to transfer that Charizard to the next generation and the next generation onto the Game Boy Advance, then through that onto the DS, then 3DS. Now, we're going to be able to with the Switch through an app, but some people who have had Pokemon, say since Game Boy Advance,
right,
in a generation that isn't as well known, maybe Generation 3 has some Pokemon that the average Pokemon fan may not know. So I don't know how Game Freak, the studio behind the Pokemon games, is deciding what Pokemon make it or break it. But not all of the close to, I think, 900 Pokemon now will be available to be held in game, even if you have had them since like 2003. So and that's where the outrage comes in.
So, I mean, have they said which Pokemon are going to be able to be They haven't even said that. So they've said,
but it's like pretty clear that like the iconic ones are going to be there. Like, I'm sure all the legendaries are going to be able to be transferred.
Right.
I'm pretty sure all the starters are going to be able to be transferred. Like, I would be shocked if all 150 of the original Pokemon don't get thrown in there.
Right.
But there's definitely going to be some cuts. And, like, the thing is it's like every Pokemon could be somebody's favorite Pokemon. So, like, that's where some of the betrayal comes in, and the fact that the series, since its inception, has been there to be like, hey, your dudes from the original game, you can have them in 7 games from now.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that you could do that. That sounds great.
It's a very cool feature, but like realistically, there was going to be a point where it was too much. So there's a lot of different speculation now. It's like, what could they add it down the line? People think they should delay the game because they think it doesn't look as good as it could, and that was Game Freak's excuse. They were like, hey, we wanted to make it look better, so that way we can't put as much effort into getting everybody in because we want to make the ones that are in look better. So there's a controversy there. I'm still excited for it though because personally, I don't transfer from gen to gen. I
Right.
used to, but not anymore.
Oh, okay. I see. I see.
And I really got back into Pokemon with Gen 7, Sun and Moon. And with Sun and Moon, like 4 out of the 6 Pokemon on my team in that entire game were Pokemon that were new to the generation.
Hmm.
So we haven't really seen many of the new Pokemon yet. We saw that Corgi with the lightning butt, which is 1,000% on my team, and we know the starters. So I'm looking forward to exploring this region. I think it's the best looking Pokemon game I've seen so far. I'm excited for that Breath of the Wild-esque area that is in the map.
Right.
And the multiplayer stuff about like the raid battles has me excited. So I think there's still a lot to be excited about for Pokemon Sword and Shield. There's just a little bit of a little damp towel over it right now by the people who are upset that you can't have every Pokemon in the game. So like I understand where they're coming from because of the history of the series.
Yeah,
but, like,
yeah.
it's tough.
I see. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, because I've never been the Pokemon. Admittedly, like like probably the game I've played the most Pokemon is Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Actually, summer 2016. But
Right, yeah.
so I don't know if I'll get Pokemon. Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
I think this is going to be a good one to hop in on because honestly, any generation's a good one to hop in on. But this is
Yeah.
the first console one. They're taking some new chances with things. They've done a lot to streamline the annoying parts of the old games over the last few. So I feel like now is as good a time as ever to jump in.
We'll see.
And I do think it's going to be a good game. Like outside of the controversy, I think that what I've seen has me very hopeful.
Okay. I see.
What is your next one?
My next one here is no surprise. It's no secret. Me, I've been playing through this series this summer, getting prepped up, played the first one, the second, a little thing called the pre-sequel, We talked a lot about the pre-show, about I'm playing through a episodic story version of this game, that tells a little bit more lore and stuff like that, beyond the events of the second iteration of this game. And we're talking about Borderlands. You know what I'm saying? Borderlands 3. There's something, and especially looking back on playing through these games, I'm like, I love Borderlands. Like, I love it. I love the sounds. It is very much like a similar love when I like see anything Borderlands related to like a Star Wars love I have. Where like if I hear something like from Star Wars, like I'm just like, oh, like I know where that's from. I know exactly what it is, and I just eat it up. You know what I'm saying? Similar. I won't say the same. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and say it's similar love, but it is a love that reminds me of my love for Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? I love Borderlands. So and everything I've seen about it, it's looking to be great. The way they're talking about it seems to be good. They talk a lot about how like they don't necessarily like want to line up Borderlands 3 to be like the modern day lure shooter, because Borderlands did start that genre, not specifically, I don't think, but in a big way. Like Borderlands is looked at as like the kind of like starting point of like the lure shooter genre, as of right now. You know what I'm saying? Like when the original came out. So like I like how they are talking about how like we're not going to necessarily emulate modern day lure shooters, but we are still gonna double down on what makes Borderlands Borderlands. And so that is a question of, is it still going to hold up? But me playing through the first one, I still love it to this day. Just played through it. I still enjoyed my time with it. The second one, loved it. I'd say second one's probably a little bit better than the first one, honestly. Pre-sequel, it's all right. Pre-sequel is not that hot, but it's all right. Tales I'm loving, mainly because of lore and stuff like that. But I'm just really excited for Borderlands 3. I just cannot wait for it, because it's definitely one of those games for me that I can just pop on the podcast, get some side missions, and just grind it out, and just have fun with it, so I cannot wait. Give me more of that Borderlands 3. Give me more of it. So.
All right, next up.
You guys didn't know, it's Christian's game of the year. You know what I'm saying?
So,
I'm a very good predictor at Christian's game of the year. You know what I'm saying? So,
Borderlands is just something that like I just don't know how to feel about sometimes.
You're just a hater, and like it's fine. It's fine.
No, because
okay.
I think there's merit to some of the stuff Borderlands does. Like it did pioneer that genre for all like essentially. I think that Tales is excellent. Tales is a fantastic game, and I think Telltale handled that property in the best way I have seen that property be handled as far as writing and characters go. Where I only played Borderlands 2 and I never finished it, but there were elements of it that were grating on me. A lot of it came down to the way that it was written. And I think if Borderlands 3 can take an approach to the way they write it, which is more in line with Tales, which is like situational, and it's more referencing like what's going on in the game and everything like that, rather than focusing on being like, well, we're wacky and zany and dubstep. Like,
what's wrong with you? You know what? It's fine.
No, because I think there's
No,
a genuine discussion to be had about like how Borderlands 2 holds up because of they wanted to capitalize on like the birth of internet memes.
Right.
Like that's what so much of the writing is in that game. Where I think Borderlands 3, from what I've seen, looks like it's doing some really cool things with like moving the gameplay forward as far as what you can do in that game and what that series is as a formula and where it would exist in 2019.
Right.
But there's just so many other things around Borderlands that just make me
cringe.
Like, care less. Not necessarily cringe. It's just like the way that like Randy Pitchford is associated with it is just strange to me because I feel like he doesn't do anything for the game, but he's like all over it, and he has that weird persona around him that's really gross.
Yeah, no, he's a whole other thing. You know, like I don't quite understand him.
And like I totally get why so many people like Borderlands, but it just never like really clicked with me outside of yeah, this is fun and it's fun to listen to a podcast when I'm living in this world. But yeah, if 3 takes some writing cues from Telltale, which I don't think it will.
I hope it does though.
Right, that'd be great because Tales is genuinely a very cool story in that world. It made me care about the corporations and the characters in that world.
I'm on episode 2. I'm in love with it. But
yeah. And like, I played Zero in Borderlands 2. Mm-hmm. Tales made me care more about Zero than anything in Borderlands 2 did. So like, there's that kind of thing. It's like it's just a lot for me with Borderlands. But if 3's cool, I might check it out. You know, like I'm not super against it, like I was Anthem, for example.
Listen, we don't talk about Anthem here anymore. Okay, we're gonna.
Right. Well, like I'm more likely to check out Borderlands 3 pre-launch than I ever was with Anthem.
Right. I see.
I just think there's a lot of things that could prevent me from enjoying myself with Borderlands 3.
I see. You're a hater. Moving on.
Next up, though, is something that similar to what you were talking about with listening to podcasts and just having a good time going through this world. The follow-up to one of my favorite games of 2017, Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Ah, I see.
Number 8.
I see.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint looks to be just prettier and more in-depth Wildlands, and that's just all I need. Because with Ghost Recon Wildlands, I think Ubisoft made one of their best open world experiences where, sure, there was not a lot of like diversity in what you could do in the world as far as what your objectives were, but the way you went about them, you had a lot of choice and freedom. So seeing the added elements they're putting in here about like super stealth camo, using the environment, the injuries, and the dynamics you have with your team as far as healing and working together and organizing strikes. Just that loop in general of going to a base that like thematically is really cool because it's just some crazy billionaire who's funding this island of death. Going to a base, scoping it out, taking like 40 minutes to just clear it super stealthily, getting that last kill, and then getting that little check mark perfectly silent is one of the best feelings I've ever had in a game this generation. and just having more of that in the way it looks now. And I think having this fantasy setting, as far as I mean, when I say fantasy, I mean the island is a fictional island. It gives them a lot of freedom. Where I thought the first map was all right because like there was a snow environment, there was a desert environment, there was some marshland, but this gives them more room to really have some fun with the playground they're giving.
Right. Right. I see. Yeah. That I mean, like the way you talk about Wildlands is similar to how like I feel about Division. You know,
Hmm.
like I love, especially Division 2. Division 1 I liked, but I just never finished it. You know, for whatever reason. But Division 2 I loved just for that. Just going in, I scope out there. I do a mission. It's all just like checkmark satisfying Ubisoft type style of mission. So I definitely feel you on that. I feel that. But no, go ahead.
It's also just a great co-op experience. Like I played through Wildlands with a buddy and I had a blast.
Mm.
Um, with Breakpoint, seeing the added things they're talking about for multiplayer and really hammering down on what worked super well with the choice and flexibility for how you approach different scenarios
Right.
just is making me so excited because I think the reason Division never clicked with me is just the like suspension of disbelief with the aspect of gear with numbers assigned to it, but like if I have a Magnum, it's a Magnum, you know?
I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like and I think Division, the other thing with Division is I think it has a really cool world
Hmm.
and that concept is interesting, but the traversal around the world just seems very sluggish to me personally.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
where Wildlands is like, sure, hop in that helicopter and skydive onto the top of that mansion and then just like pull your drone out, do that, jump off the roof and hop on your bike and then get out of there. So
Right,
like
right. I see what you mean.
it's just lends itself to being a better co-op experience and for me, and they're also adding a raid. So that's going to
Mm,
be cool to see how they tackle that.
mm.
So I can't wait
See.
for it.
My next game, I know you are also anticipating. I don't know what your level is. I don't know, how what's on the thermometer, if you will, of your hypeness. But Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. You know what I'm saying? I know we both had conversations before we saw the E3 unveiling of it being a little shaky. They had a weird official reveal of the game being a thing at last year's E3 where he was literally in the crowd and Andrew Renee was like, "Hey, tell me about your game," and like there wasn't any assets shown to the game, whatever. So weird introduction to this game, but I think based off of what we've seen this E3, I feel like it has made up for it as a whole. Probably not 100%, but I feel like it's been made up. I am liking what I'm seeing here with Jedi Fallen Order. I like the ties to Rogue One with oh my god, his name
Saw Gerrera.
Saw. I almost said Saw something, but yeah, Saw Gerrera. I'm liking the ties there. I'm liking the connections. I'm like how I like how we are seeing firsthand the enslavement of the Wookiees. You know what I'm saying? And seeing how that all unfolds, which hasn't been really explored that much in Star Wars, as far as I'm aware. Probably in the comics, but you know what I'm saying? Like probably in some side shoots, but like generally speaking, in a granular scale, I feel like we're gonna see a lot more of that, which is cool. A unique angle to it, and also a territory in the realm of the mainline story having it take place between 3 and 4. That's an interesting area. It's a big like transition point. I feel like a lot of changes happen in the universe to that in that frame. I just can't wait to play it. It's looking really
Yeah.
cool. I'm liking it. The combat's looking nice.
So I think when we did that first anticipated podcast earlier in January,
Yeah.
I think Jedi Fallen Order didn't make my list.
Mm.
I think it was an honorable mention because I was worried, like it was EA at the time, and even since then, like Anthem happened, but
True.
specifically with Respawn, Apex happened, and while Apex is like sort of fizzled out as far as being the hotness,
Right.
I think they have a great potential and great talent at Respawn for making cool stories and characters, but I think the like the little notes they've established so far with sort of painting the picture of what the world looks like in this game.
Uh-huh.
Outside of combat, that's the most interesting thing I've seen, because I still think like I think the character that they've given us, Cal Kestis,
Yeah.
has potential to be cool, but they haven't given me like a reason to care about him yet.
Right.
And I'm sure that's gonna come naturally in the game, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah.
So there isn't much tying me to the story yet, but like knowing that world, knowing what's going on in that time period, like you said, already heightens the investment a little bit. Since the E3 reveal, and this was actually rumored before E3, the format of the game is going to be similar to something like a Ratchet and Clank, where you have all these different planets you can go to, and you can freely get through there, similar to like a Metroidvania.
Yeah.
There's elements of exploration that are tied to abilities or
Right.
gadgets or weapons or story progress, where exploration is encouraged, but you could totally just mainline through that thing without having to backtrack or delve deeper into what they've given you.
Yeah.
So that, like, those reasons has me interested, but they haven't shown me enough of that yet to get like super hyped for that.
Right.
Hearing that that's in the game though is making me feel better about it. I've been numbering mine. It was number 6 for me.
Okay.
So not quite the top 5, but I'm really looking forward to being able to get into that game. And I'm really hoping, as far as walking away with it, I enjoy it the same way I enjoyed Spider-Man. That's all I'm asking.
Okay. I think that's a reasonable. I think that'll be a hit for the most part.
I hope so.
Unless something tragic happens, like, you know.
I mean, man, that combat, that parrying, like, if it's even close to how Sekiro feels, that's already going to bump it up close to good swinging feels in Spider-Man or something like that.
It looks really fun. It looks really fun to play, so I guess we'll see in November. But what is this your last game in your top 5? I don't even know. Is it?
So I've been going 10 down.
I'm going up. Interesting. Okay, but you're number 5.
No, so I did.
I'm an idiot. Sorry, my bad.
So I did 10, 9, 8, and we just talked about my 6th. My 7th though was Luigi's Mansion 3.
Interesting. I'm not at all grabbed by this game, but let me know what you think. Let me know.
Luigi's Mansion is one of my favorite Nintendo games. It's one of the best games on GameCube. It was the first. I say this a lot because I think it's just funny because it's accurate. It's the best Resident Evil game I've ever played because it's essentially that Resident Evil formula of you have a mansion, you go through rooms, you fight enemies, you clear out the room, you get an item that helps you unlock somewhere else in the mansion, and just the progression works like that. Very tone. But with Luigi's Mansion 3, it looks like more of that just blown up on a way bigger scale because you're in like I think 17 or 13 story hotel.
Right.
And I was worried about Luigi's Mansion 3 because I never played 2, but from what I heard of 2, people liked it, but it was like mission based and it wasn't one area you were just chipping away at. It was like a bunch of different areas where it was like, oh, do this mission in this one, do this mission in this one, and it was like less focused and more spread out. But this is like recentering on what made the first one great, and it just has a great vibes and it's very fun and it's cool being a Ghostbuster in that Mario world. So
okay,
I'm excited for it.
Do we know if there is a 9th floor inside the hotel? Because I don't know if this is everywhere, but I feel like I've seen a lot of times like when they go to a big hotel, there's no 9th floor. No, sorry, 13th floor. Excuse me, 13th floor.
I mean, I imagine since it's a spooky game, there's gonna be a 13th floor. You know.
You see, I am very slow this Monday. What is wrong with me? I said birth.
It's okay. Okay.
All right, my next game here also falls in line with the similar spooky vibes. You know what I'm saying?
So is this 6 for you?
Yes,
I think that.
So one
This
was
is the sixth
Wolfenstein.
game you talked about.
Yeah, one Wolfenstein, two Borderlands 3, three Call of Duty Modern Warfare, four Jedi Fallen Order, then five. What I'm talking about right now, which I just said the first word, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's E3 2018 Ubisoft Spooky. No, wait, what was that? Was that Bethesda's? Bethesda. I'm relating to the Ghostwire Tokyo reveal, where the creative director was like spooky. You know what I'm saying? I suck. Anyway, so spooky vibes, Stranger Things for the Switch.
Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
8-bit. I love the world of Stranger Things. I love the show. A very, very good show. I'm liking how the game looks. 8-bit, beat 'em up. I think it's telling the story of the entire season. So I feel like I'm
Yes.
gonna probably want to watch and binge Stranger Things first and then play the game.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
what I'm gonna do.
Which I'm hoping I'll have ample time to just burn through that series, and just get through season 3. So we will work on that when it comes out later this week, July 4th on Thursday. But overall, it's looking really good. It's $20, so I'm expecting it to be kind of like a 6-7 hour, probably even less than that. I don't even know.
I could
It
see
might
4 to 6.
yeah. Like a very just truncated type of experience. So I'm hype. I really and this was revealed last E3, right?
Game Awards, actually, I think.
Game Awards? Yes, no, yeah. It was Game Awards, and this is kind of scratching that would have, should have, could have been Telltale Stranger Things game,
Right.
to a degree. R.I.P. Probably will never see that, unfortunately, but at least we have this, So I'm excited for that, and the way the game is, it is definitely checks off all the boxes of a Kevin Diaz Switch ass game. You know what I'm saying? So it should be good. We'll see.
Well, like I said, my number 6 was Fallen Order. But my number 5, interesting you say Switch game. That just screams Switch game. I don't know if this is coming to other platforms. I'm sure it will at some point. But Creature in the Well.
I have heard. Wait, I think from you.
Yeah, I brought it up around on our E3 episode, actually. It wasn't one of my takeaways, but it impressed me more than I did when it got revealed.
Right. So just talk about platforms real quick. It's coming to Switch, Windows, PC, and Xbox One.
Okay, so maybe PS4 at a later date.
Yeah.
Creature in the Well looks cool because it is a dungeon crawler in the style of a Zelda, I guess, where combat is you as a robot. You got like some sword or some pipe or something, and you have these energy balls, and you like toss the ball up and you swing your stick, whatever you have as a weapon, at it, and the ball ricochets off of things in the room, and as it continues to bounce, it builds up more strength and more points, and you're essentially playing pinball for combat to make your way through these dungeons. And it has a very interesting art style. It's not minimalist, but it's not cel shaded either. It's like some weird ground between there. I like how it looks. I like the shadows, and just the idea of playing pinball in a way that it's not like locked into a cabinet like a normal pinball game, but like having to worry about the element of the ball in terms of how I'm making my way through these puzzles and these enemies in these dungeons is something interesting that I haven't seen done in another game before. And I just think it has a lot of potential to be a cool dungeon crawler game.
I see. I'm intrigued.
And I think as of right now, it's only listed for summer 2019. I don't think it's a firm date yet.
Yeah, it just there isn't a release date. It just says 2019. So I assume it's coming out soon. But my next one here, so this is gonna now go into the realm of we don't have a date for any of these. Well, we have a date for some of them, but some of them we don't have dates for, but we know they're coming out, right? My first one is Ghost of Tsushima. Now, I wasn't completely wowed at the gameplay that we saw last E3, right?
It was very pretty.
Yeah, it was very pretty. It was very, very nice looking. I like, the overall environment looks beautiful, Um, but I wasn't wowed at the gameplay of that game. At least how it looked. Obviously, we haven't gotten hands on, but it looks a little rough, right? But I am hoping that Sucker Punch can pull it together. I trust that studio. You know what I'm saying? And I think it'll be okay. But I do stand a little bit worried, even though I am anticipating the game. And really, the only anticipation factor I have, to have any that I'm standing on is the fact that it's made by Sucker Punch, which I love the studio, and
Me too.
that yeah, and
Great
that
games.
yeah, great games. But I don't know. I think we both share that opinion where like we both are kind of like lukewarm on Ghost of Tsushima, even after seeing it.
I think that reveal trailer was like close to being a 10 out of 10 reveal for a game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was such a good trailer.
Yeah.
And the follow-up gameplay segment from E3, I was like, okay, I kind of get what this game is now. Like, I understand what we're doing. Very narrative based, which, hey, sign me up for. I love those kinds of games. But yeah, I think it was a strange demo because they focused on combat, and I remember talking about this with you last year around E3. Uh, I was kind of like Ghost of Who because Sekiro, that was the same time Sekiro got revealed, and seeing that like visual style or that genre, I guess,
Yeah.
being tackled by From Software, who I think makes incredible combat mechanics in video games, as opposed to something that's more like Arkham inspired combat, I guess, as far as like the closest comparison I can make right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a strange comparison,
Right.
but
Right.
I'm interested to see how Ghost progresses over the next few months or years, because again, we don't know when it's coming out, but I hope it's cool, I hope it's good, and I hope it has just a really good story, because I miss having a Sucker Punch games. I feel like we used to get them pretty frequently, and now we don't.
It's really sad. It's upset. Well, I mean, as long as Ghost is a good game, you can't really complain, but
Well,
we'll
yeah,
see.
no, I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
mean like it's been a while since I've been able to tackle a Sucker Punch
Right.
because like what
Second Son was 2014,
2014.
and then First Light was probably 2015, but it could have been the same year. I know Second Son was out spring of 2014. It was like March or April ish area, in the first 6 months of PS4, but not sure when First Light came out. But that was the last thing we've gotten from Sucker Punch.
Yeah,
But
so it's been a while. I'm sure they're doing hard work, but I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it.
interesting how we have a chat here that's hoping for some Last of Us 2 info. Because that was indeed my other game here. Last of Us Part 2 obviously needs really, like, what else can you say? You know what I'm saying? It's looking great. It's 5 years after the original Last of Us. We're playing as Ellie primarily. Joel, who knows where he is? We don't know. Sephiroth, what's going on? Who's at Lightning Paris Game 2 trailer? We have a whole show dedicated to this game. Road to Part 2 weekly on PlayStation Source and podcast services. Shameless plug there. Uploads every Wednesday. Check out a long discussion about this game, but I can't wait for it. I really can't. Like out of all the games, if you're like, hey, give me, you can have one right now, it would be that. They're talking about factions a lot. I can't wait to see what factions are going to be in Last of Us Part 2. I've fallen in love with the mode as of recently in the past like 6 months. I'm loving it. I love factions. It's such a good multiplayer mode. So that is it. I mean, Part 2, I know you have a bit, you're not down on it.
I'm just hesitant.
Yeah, I know you're very trepid and hesitant because I will stand by, hey, if Last of Us was just a one and done game and like that's it and like that's what it was, that would have been a satisfying thing. So I definitely see your point on like you like don't see why the game got a sequel. But
Well, it's not even that. It's like I see why the game got a sequel because there is more you can tell with that world.
right.
It's just the direction of things we've seen so far. It feels like not unnecessary. It just feels like they don't have like a message
Hmm.
yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, from Druckmann, he has said that if part one is about love, part two is about hate.
Yeah, I think it's just hard to convey that in
Yeah, and
like
like I know,
materials
yeah, I know that's a
because
very yeah,
with the first Last of Us, it was like it's in the title. The world is gone. It's the last people remaining, and you see Joel and Ellie form this very good relationship over the course of the game, and that's what the game's about. So, The Last of Us Part 2, again, right now, it just feels like it's kind of aimless. Like, we don't know what we're necessarily doing. I know Ellie said she wants revenge, but, like, is it just a revenge game? Is that what we're going for? If we are, sure, I'll play it, but, like, the name Last of Us carries so much weight with it that
right.
I think following up and having the claim of this is the second part of that story is like you really need to prove that the feeling of completion that many people had at the end of the first game is not right because it's not done yet. And I
Listen,
feel like as of right now, they just haven't done that enough or done that in a way that makes me feel like the journey isn't over when Ellie says, okay, cut to
right,
black. You
right,
know?
right.
That's
You,
how I feel about it right now.
we can bookmark this episode. Let me tell you something, okay?
Mhm.
If part two is somehow bad, and
I'm gonna say it's gonna
somehow,
be bad.
yeah, no, I know, but let's say somehow doesn't fulfill what we want out of part two. Like, let's just say, I think I'll quit gaming. I think I'm prepared to say that. Okay, no, I'm not. I'll do, I'll do something. I will think about it, but I'll do something outlandish,
Uh,
as I do. But what is your next game, my good sir?
so mine, I can do 4 and 3 since you just did two, and then we can wrap it up with the final two.
Okay,
You want to do that?
I have. It's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
I have
Wait, do
three
you have three
more.
left?
I have three left.
Okay, so I'll just do number four then.
Okay, cool.
Number four for me. You mentioned if you could have any game right now, what would it be? This isn't that, but it's pretty soon, and it's one that I'm really looking forward to, and it's probably the next big PS4 game I'm gonna get,
Ah.
probably. Control.
Mm.
Control, similarly to what we talked about with Jedi Fallen Order, and the reason why I love Arkham Asylum so much, it's a 3D Metroidvania with an excellent tone that they've established so far. Um, I think Control has this really nice air of like weird corporate sci-fi, um, supernatural stuff going on
Yeah.
that is something that I really like, but I don't think it really gets capitalized on much in other games. I know TV and film touch on it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but I've never seen a lot of games really emphasize that.
Right.
And seeing the premise they've established of you playing as, I think her name's Jessie, she's the head of the Federal Bureau of Control, which already, like, yes, sign me up for that. That, like, whatever universe that we
That
have a
sounds
Federal
dope.
Bureau of Control, that sounds so cool.
That sounds dope as hell.
Again, talking like Stranger Things, I think that this is like similar vibes of like
Yeah.
weird paranormal things. And what they've shown of the game so far looks pretty cool. Like telekinetic abilities, maybe like some Dead Space vibes. I'm just way in for what they've established Control to be so far. And I haven't played a game like that in a very long time, and I'm gonna be hungry for one by the time Control comes out. So I kind of want to stay like not blackout, but like far away from it at this point.
Right.
I watched a little bit of the E3 coverage from Keighley, but I think I'm good now because like I want to be surprised by, I'm sure, the several twists and turns that story's gonna take.
Right. I'm not. I don't know if I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna say like there's a 40% chance I'll play it.
Mhm.
We'll see when we get close, but it's a perhaps game. But one that is not a perhaps game for me is Watch Dogs Legion coming out next year. I thought it was gonna be in fall. There were
Yeah, I did too.
very odd how it get. It's very odd. It seemed Because when they said, all right, we're going to take a year off Assassin's Creed, I was like, okay, cool. Like, you'll just put out Watch Dogs. Like, that will be the fall, key mark Ubisoft title. But looks like that place is being taken up by Breakpoint, and it won't be Watch Dogs, which is interesting. But nonetheless, Legion, there is technically no main character. There kind of is. You recruit other people, and they talking like crazy about how like there's 20 storylines in the game, but like it's not just the same dialogue and different people say it. It's more of just like, it's from what they said, it's like completely just different ways that the story could turn out, which is cool. And based off what we've seen, I was pretty up on Watch Dogs Legion, but I wasn't like insanely up because
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be more into it than I was.
yeah, I really wasn't feeling it as much. I was when they kind of showed some gameplay towards like the later half where you're playing as the female character and you're in that kind of warehouse type deal, and there was a thing where she was like behind cover and she hacked a car and the car propelled forward and killed like 3 people, whatever. That's not new to the series, but I just thought that was like a really cool moment in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like there's something off that I can easily see this game not being good.
I think I get what you're saying, and I think it's probably because it seems like it's very ambitious right now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know, because like it was cool having a protagonist, like Aiden Pierce, and then like the second one, Aiden Pierce I know isn't the greatest protagonist. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it's cool to have a story derive around the protagonist, no matter how bad he is. But
Kevin, this feeling that you have right now,
oh god.
this feeling is exactly why if a game tries to sell itself by saying it's a roguelike, immediately my brain shuts off.
Right.
Because like the way they've talked about the characters in Watch Dogs Legion is, I guess, similar to the format of a roguelike, where I think there's 20 different personalities, and then like the character model and their backgrounds that they give you through text are different based on like some form of randomness.
Mm-hmm.
Where like I can get interested in that, where it's like, hey, I have my 20 that I've found throughout this game, and if one of them dies, I'm gonna be bummed because I had an attachment to them, and I remember the moment I got them, and they've been with me this whole time.
Right.
Where something like a roguelike doesn't, like, it has that sort of disconnect that it seems like you have with that aspect of the characters.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
So I get what you mean though. Like I can totally understand having a bit of hesitation for Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah.
Because I know you love 2, right?
Oh my god, 2 is like, God, I love 2. It's so underrated. Like Marcus as a character was just so good. You know what I'm saying? Like I just love the world they built and like how he relates to the world and how his outlook on San Francisco. It was just so good. So like I thought it would have been cool because like when we heard that it was going to be in London, I was like, okay, like that sounds like a really cool like story that they could, with things like Brexit going on, like I feel like it could be a really cool like outlook on that perspective. That's something that we don't see typically, in Western games and stuff like that. I thought it'd be like a really cool way to portray that if they had like a Watch Dogs 2-esque style where you're following around this person in this world with the CTOS and stuff like that. I thought it would have been really cool, but they're taking this approach, which, like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But what is your next game, good sir?
So a number 3 might surprise you.
Interesting.
Because I kind of surprised myself with how comfortable I was with putting this game here. Because I don't know if I'm in day 1 on this.
Okay.
I don't know if I will get to this.
Okay.
But I do have an excitement inside me for Destiny 2 Shadowkeep.
Wow. This is on your list?
Yeah, and it's my number 3.
Wow. Okay.
So, here's where I stand.
Where do you stand, good sir?
The post Google Stadia conference Destiny stream thing where they talked about the future of Destiny 2 going free to play, really wanting to emphasize on having it be a continuous world you can keep going back to more so than it's ever been. And seeing the direction they have, at least what they presented to everybody,
Yeah.
got me excited and made me really miss the time I've spent in Destiny.
Right.
Because I'm not a super hardcore Destiny fan. I've racked up like probably 200, maybe 250, 300 hours across 1 and 2 on my different characters. But I've never played the raids. I was really into Crucible. I liked just doing the PvE stuff.
Yeah.
But having Destiny be that game that just feels so good to play and being able to hop in with my friends, I miss that. And Shadowkeep, again, like Shadowkeep, I don't know if I'm in day one. I don't even know a ton about Shadowkeep. I know we're going back to the moon. I know Eris Morn is coming back.
Yeah.
And I still haven't even played Forsaken.
I need to do that as well. More,
But-
I think we're in the same like progression in Destiny 2, where we haven't played Forsaken yet. But go ahead.
But I have it reinstalled now. It's on my PS4. I need to buy Forsaken at some point. So if I do end up buying Forsaken over the summer, and I can get through Forsaken with at least one of my Guardians, I think I might do Shadowkeep.
May I bitch and complain about the process of buying Forsaken? May I? I don't understand
I
it.
don't get it.
I don't understand it. It's so fucking weird. I don't get it. Like it is so like, why isn't there just, hey, here is the Forsaken expansion, and then hey, if you want to do that, be like, hey, you know what? Here is another version, the Forsaken expansion plus all of the year 2 content. You know what I'm saying? The other things that. Why is it that I have one option, and it includes the Destiny 2 base game? It includes the expansions, Curse of Osiris and the other one, whatever it was called. You know, those two that we've already done, that I've already purchased, and then Forsaken, and then I think it might come with the year 2 stuff. But can I just buy Forsaken and the year 2 stuff, like, please?
I think minimum you're gonna have to spend $40.
Yeah, and like I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why it's. I don't know. It's very, very weird. Very weird.
Yeah. So Destiny 2, like I had a blast with Destiny 2. Again, I put a couple hundred hours, probably not a couple hundred. I put like maybe close to 200 hours into Destiny 2. And I would love to go back to that world and have fun with that world because I have some good memories with that game, and I would like to continue having more good memories with that game.
Yeah, that's definitely on my list, and we'll be returning to at some point. You know what I'm saying? But what is on my list currently, a game that we know we haven't heard a lot of in a long time, right? But I've been kind of just waiting for it. You know, I've had my finger on the heartbeat that is this game, waiting for a pulse. That is Biomutant.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying? I believe by THQ. I believe Avalanche Studios. The people behind.
There's 2 different Avalanches in game development. I forget which one is which, but
I think it's made by one of the Avalanches. As far as I believe, the ones behind Just Cause. That could be completely wrong, but something like that. You know what I'm saying? It looks really cool, at least to me. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't see it at all this E3, as far as I'm aware.
I believe there may have been an event earlier this year, because I think I heard some impressions about it not controlling super well. But it probably got delayed out of 2019. I don't know if there's a date on it.
Yeah, there's no date. If anything, there's probably a year.
Yeah.
But we don't know exactly what's coming out. I just think it looks really enticing, you know. Then yeah, that's just really much like because there isn't a lot that we know about it. We've just seen a few gameplay segments and stuff like that about it. You know, you are playing as like these mutated animals that, you know, you battle them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I was really into Biomutant when it first got revealed.
Yeah,
and kind of just fell off my radar because I was like, yeah, take your time, do whatever. So it's not what I'm super excited about, and it's not what I think about constantly. But next time they show it, and I hope they blow it up next time they show it.
Yeah,
It's probably gonna decide whether or not I'm into it or not.
Right, right. I see. Maybe I'm a fool. You know, perhaps. What is this your last game or your second last game?
I got two more.
Okay, I have one more. So interesting. Go ahead.
Okay. So my number two, it was pretty high on my list last time we did this. Um, Not too sure if I'm picking it up day one. But I definitely want to get to it this year. The Outer Worlds.
Interesting.
I've talked about this game a handful of times at this point.
Indeed.
I don't know how frequently they're updating people on this game. I don't know if they're posting like YouTube videos all the time about what you can do in the game. All I know is from the Game Informer coverage and what we saw at E3. This game can fill the void of Mass Effect in my heart. It can fill the void of there being no Cowboy Bebop game. It could be very cool. It could be a fun romp through space. And I think it's just going to be a good time. They've made it very clear that this is not an expansive, endless open world game like a Fallout or a Skyrim. But they want you to be able to play it over and over again with different approaches. And those experiences make the game diverse enough where you can get the same enjoyment out of it. It's just playing through the story in different ways, which I think is interesting. And being honest, I prefer something like that as opposed to a game that I would reach credits in after 150 hours.
Right.
So Outer Worlds looks like it could have a lot of potential to be fun. I think there's a lot in there that's going to make it maybe feel like a last gen game, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
As far as something that like the type of games that we don't really get anymore. But Obsidian does great work. I've liked what I've played from them, and I'm looking forward to having this weird, wacky space game.
It looks like it has a lot of flavor to it, you know, like a lot of like personality. But
Definitely.
for sure, another game that has a lot of spice, personality, if you will, you know, a charm, one might say. Good old Animal Crossing. You know what I'm saying? I envision the future, if I may, Christian. Ow, I hit my leg on the desk. I envision the future, right? I work a long day, perhaps at school, video work here at the old desk, perhaps it's serving at my job, you know. I come home, get a glass of wine, perhaps play some smooth jazz in the background, a candle, you know, pop open my Joy-Cons, plop them in my Switch, and just play Animal Crossing until I go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Paying off my dues, paying off my debts, fishing, harvesting fruits. You know what I'm saying? Talking to the folk. You know, that's what I want to do. You know, that is why I love Animal Crossing, and I cannot wait to have it on the Switch. That is it. That is the tea. You know.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to Animal Crossing. I love New Leaf. I've purposefully not bought Stardew Valley because I'm just waiting for Animal Crossing. I don't want to burn out on Stardew because it's like similar kind of setup.
Right.
What I am looking forward to, as far as like the bandage to stop my Animal Crossing heart from bleeding, is Dragon Quest Builders 2, because I feel like it's going to be different enough where you have the building mechanic and the questing mechanic on top of the thing of like you have villagers that you have to do things for and you have your own town that you build. So I'm looking forward to that because that's going to make up for the fact that it got pushed out of 2019.
Very upsetting, but yeah, I feel you. I feel that.
But yeah, Animal Crossing I've been waiting for a very long time and I can't wait to play it.
Absolutely. Funny how Beyond Good and Evil 2 got not mentioned.
Hey, I mean, like, they made it clear before E3, they're like, hey, we're not bringing it this year.
That's true.
So,
what are your last two, if not your last game, on your list, sir? Because I have exhausted myself.
This is my last game.
Okay, beautiful.
Do you have a guess?
Can you run me through your list one more time?
Oh, I deleted them all. Let's see if I can.
That's hilarious. Okay, it's fine. It's okay. Is this game officially announced?
Yes.
Okay. Is it? Is this Cyberpunk?
No, all my games have been for 2019.
Oh, okay, okay, huh? Okay, so this is a 2019 game. I'm not gonna look at the list of games that are coming out this year. I don't want to cheat. So let's just huh? Is
I'll
it
tell you what I said. I said Darksiders Genesis.
okay?
This isn't in the right order because I deleted the order.
Right, right.
Darksiders Genesis, Ghost Recon Breakpoint,
Okay.
Luigi's Mansion 3,
Uh-huh.
Pokemon Sword and Shield, Jedi Fallen Order, Creature in the Well,
Mm-hmm.
Outer Worlds, Destiny 2, and Control.
And it's for sure coming out 2019. Is it coming to PlayStation 4?
Yes.
Is it a AAA game or is it an indie game?
AAA.
AAA. Was it seen at E3?
No.
It was not at E3 this year. Huh. Wow. Wait, is it really dumb easy? And I'm gonna feel like an idiot after you say it.
Kevin, what channel do we work for?
PlayStation Sword. Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I hate myself so much. God, why am I so stupid? I'm actually an idiot today, if I may. Like I intentionally did not put this game on there because I'm not gonna say I'm like hyped for this game. I am gonna play it, but I wouldn't say I'm like hyped for it. You know, I'm not.
So
really
what is the name of the game?
It is Death Stranding.
Yeah, it is.
I was gonna say what game are you talking about?
If I could only have one game that I mentioned so far, it's Death Stranding.
Okay.
Death Stranding for the same reasons I'm really excited for Control. I think you add the Kojima-ness to it.
Kojima-ness. I'm gonna add
Yeah,
that to
Kojima has like his weird quirks.
No, I know. Yeah.
I can't wait for this game. I'm very excited for it. And I think that we've been on a ride with Kojima. Because it was the whole Konami thing. Metal Gear Solid 5, which I think is one of the best mechanically playing, one of the best games of the generation. Best third-person shooter open world game I've played this gen. As far as like feel goes, I'm not talking like overall package. As far as like the moment-to-moment stuff,
Right.
feels incredibly tight, incredibly good. And then seeing the potential of what we could have had with Silent Hills and PT, with Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus, that being canceled, and him being dark for so long, coming out with Death Stranding, an original idea, hugely impressive. Sorry, that's not the right way to say that. Very big names in the cast, impressive cast, and just seeing what he does with his imagination set free of the history of Metal Gear, because Metal Gear is great. Love how crazy, weird BS it is. Such a great tone of like military espionage with like weird betrayals and stuff like that. Love it to death. But seeing the type of stories he can tell, and more specifically the type of characters that he can make, I'm excited to see that let loose and not be tied down to a name outside of Hideo and his actors.
I see.
So
Interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely more sold after seeing it in May. Seeing that long 8-minute trailer, I'm definitely more sold in it. You know, it just took a while for me to be sold, but now I am sold. You know.
Yeah.
So exciting.
And I like that it's being very weird with what we're seeing from it so far, because again, we've talked about this before. I don't like it's a tired take to be like, oh, what's it about? It's like the general idea of what he's presenting seems like his themes are like pretty clear, like environment, social isolation, reconnecting with people, and just any type of thing that can connect to those things. Give me a weird story that's just very metaphorical, dealing with those things, that is very fun to like sneak around in. Like, sure, sign me up.
Right.
Take me on a ride. So
there we go.
That's it. That's my number one.
Death Stranding. Da-na-na. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh wait, hold on. I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind. I don't know. Never mind. We're good.
All right.
We're good.
And some of your games were 2020 games, so I just want to give a shout out to Cyberpunk. That's gonna be a great time.
Of course, of course.
And speaking of, did you see today that CD Projekt Red was like, remember how there was that rumor that like they were working on their next AAA game,
I did see that. I did.
and everyone's like, oh, they're working on Witcher 4 now. Nope, they're working on 3 different Cyberpunk games at the same time.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
One's supposed to be like a multiplayer game, and that one's going to be something else in the world.
Yeah.
But I know one of them is rumored to be like a Cyberpunk multiplayer component, which is interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
we'll see. We'll see.
can't wait for it. Looking
It
forward
seems
to
like they're definitely doubling down on Cyberpunk. For
Yeah, and I mean
for the next few years.
it makes sense because they've pretty much only been doing Witcher since as far as I can remember. So
Yeah.
if they want to take a break, do something else, that's cool.
Yeah. So
Before we close out, let's scroll through the chat real quick.
will Sony hold a PSX this year? Not sure. I'd
Yeah.
say yes, but it's all up in the air, boys. We don't know what's going on. We don't know, but I would say yes.
Yes, so I think go with me.
Okay.
We're gonna get one more state of play in the summer, maybe August.
Okay.
Maybe highlight a couple games coming out this fall that have like marketing deals with PlayStation, like
Mhm.
Iceborne. Give another Death Stranding show or something.
Maybe. Oh wait, no, not Destiny 2. Never mind. Go ahead.
COD has the marketing deal.
Yeah,
right?
COD does. Yeah.
Maybe that's when we get our gameplay reveal. So we have one more state of play this year. Silence until November. Death Stranding comes out. It's like, all right, see you next year. December, the weekend of the Game Awards. Hey, PlayStation's inviting you to talk about the future of PlayStation. We have a PSX. It is only about the PS5 and gameplay demos for The Last of Us Part 2.
When is
That's
that?
what PSX is.
When is PSX?
December.
No. Well, no. I mean, I like the idea of a PSX.
Mhm.
Obviously. But I just don't see them being quiet on part 2 for actually a year and a half.
Totally can.
Really?
Think of how many times they showed Days Gone and God of War and how big that backfired on them. Like, God of War ended up being all right, but look at what it did to Days Gone. And they, for as good as their exclusives were this generation, they really showed a lot of things way too early. And I think The Last of Us Part 2, as cool as that announcement was way too early.
Another big one, Spider-Man.
Yeah, because Spider-Man they just showed to
They
death.
showed a
It ended
lot.
up hurting my enjoyment of the game.
Yeah. The E3
So-
right before of that game release, E3 2018.
Mhm.
When they showed that was too far.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bump up everything they've shown of Last of Us 1 year, and I think we'd be fine and it would be completely on track. It's just they did that first initial reveal that was just in engine way too early. And they're waiting now. They're holding it because they want to show it when it's ready. Rumors of the delay. I can't imagine they're going to show the delay until they're ready to announce it. I can't imagine they're going to show gameplay or give an update until they announce a date.
Yeah. I also agree.
And I think the best way to do that would probably be in tandem with a next-gen announcement. If
But-
that game is going to be the cross-gen game.
I feel like they're going to just kind of do a reflection of they did with PS4, where they had a specific hardware event in February 20th, I believe specifically, of 2013. Like, hey, here's the console. This is what it looks like out this fall, out in November. I just feel like that's what they would do. But then again, bringing PS5 news to PSX would blow it up and make it the biggest deal. And even though PSX is a big deal, regardless of whether PS5 is there or not, you know what I'm saying? But I could see either way, honestly. I feel like I'm more leaning towards like its own separate conference in February. But then again, I'm just a Joe Schmo. I don't know.
Here's why I'm not. Because this generation, Sony carved out the winter December for them.
Right.
Like, we expect PlayStation news in December now.
Right.
When the PS4 got revealed, we didn't. We just were ready for E3, and that was when we got our PlayStation news, unless it was a random day.
That is true.
So February and December might as well be the same month, man. Like, seriously though, if
No,
you're
I
launching
feel you,
a
I feel you.
console in like say September or November,
Right.
September to November, getting 2 months extra press, I don't think is a bad thing,
Right.
especially if you can use your high marquee game to one, promote the game, promote next gen, and be like, hey, backwards compatibility, big deal for us now, and you're only gonna have to buy The Last of Us once. Like something like that, I feel like is a big news story that they could blow up the internet with.
Right. I
So,
see. I see.
I think we're probably getting a PSX. I think it's gonna be the PS5 event. I think Last of Us is when we hear about it then.
And you can watch it live here on PlayStation Source.
That you can.
Absolutely. Christian.
Kevin.
Oh.
I was gonna ask you. Where can people find you?
I was gonna ask you. You can find me down here at the lower third at DK Diaz. DK Diaz 123. Follow me on there. You can know more opinions on how I feel about Tales as I'm playing through that. You can see a already finished and established thread of my friend Pedro, my short, concise thoughts on it. You know, you can see all that and more on my Twitter, as well as you can catch me here on the channel. We have a few videos up for this week, as well as, of course, Road to Part 2, the weekly Last of Us show that me and the Starks do. Shout out to him. That will be going up on Wednesday. And, yeah, so look out for that. Look out for a video tomorrow as well. Not sure which one I'm uploading, but stick around. You'll see. You'll see.
Very cool.
Where can the people find you, Christian?
Follow me on Twitter at Chris N. Buckley. Been kind of quiet on Twitter recently, just trying to chip away some backlog stuff. Obviously here every Monday on Cross Circle. You can also find me on youtube.com/joyclicks, where I have a Marvel podcast that is ending.
What?
With the review of Spider-Man Far From Home, whenever that gets posted.
What?
As of right now, that's going to be the end of this run of Excelsior.
What? I see.
There are other projects and podcasts in the works for that channel that are similar to Excelsior that I will be talking about later. But Marvel content isn't going away there because I talk about comics and Ultimate Alliance and stuff like that on there too. If you care about that or Nintendo stuff, whatever. So,
speaking of podcasts, make sure to go check out the link down below in the description. It'll link you to the Anchor PlayStation Source podcast, page where you can go and see and follow the different links down below on that page to listen to us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Play, etc. And that is the home, not the home, but another source for our long form content. So that is specifically Cross Circle Podcast as well as Road to Part 2. Those are the main two shows that will be on there in podcast format right after they upload or stream on the main channel. So shout out to that.
So that was a long one.
Indeed.
We have ideas for what the summer looks like for Cross Circle, so look forward to next week. But until then,
greatness awaits.
See ya.
Cheers.